How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. We're talking about avoiding certain foods or eating what you want. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Watch out for this. Watch out for that. That can give you cancer. That can gain you lots of weight and make you fat. That can hurt your baby. That can age you fast. That can make you lose your libido. What is it now? The world has caught on to shock and awe. Don't eat this, don't eat that, fear, fear, fear. You better intermittent fast, you better stop sugar, you better avoid the medical system, you better avoid carbs. They say now you should even avoid the doctor. The doctor's gonna kill you, pharma's out to get you. You better do a fast, you better try to fast. You better try this product, you better try that product. It can be an insane asylum out there, and who's right and who's wrong? And most important, where's the substance to it all? Seems like a lot of empty, quick ideas shouting out with no foundation at all. Empty noise and bullshit. My plane was delayed. Oh, no. Yeah. What about yours? Oh, you're on the same flight, right? Oh, this is awful. I'm just going to sit down and try to kill some time. Yeah. Let me just look at some articles here online. 4 foods that will destroy your life in under 10 minutes. All right. Let's see. Here's this one here. The 10 forever chemicals to avoid like the plague. All right. What's this article here? Experts warn that garlic may cause colon cancer. Really? I like garlic. That's weird. Scientists say that if you eat twice your stomach size, you will get stomach cancer. Ooh, I don't want that. Influencer warns that the contraception she used made her sick. All right. What about this article here? Fitness trainer with 72,000 followers dies eating a package of tuna. All right. Here's one right here. Maybe I'll read this one. Restaurant sued because of peanuts in the dressing. Oh, yeah. Well, I've heard about peanuts being a problem. How about this one? You have an 8% chance of dying early if you eat too fast. Oh, man. My God, when's my plane taking off? You see it every day out there now. Shock and awe. Shock and awe. That's what it's all about. Clickbait, fear, chaos, concerns, discernment, worry. It's all out there. Everybody's trying to create a flytrap, trying to get you to click that button, to read that article, to look at that video. And everything's like, die. You're going to die. You're going to get sick. Something terrible is going to happen until you click this button here. And then suddenly lately, there's all these food experts now. And the food experts are everything from dietitians to scientists to food experts, who knows where, what, how, but they're just in every article now. They're like top 5 foods to help you age less. Top 5 foods that will actually age you. It's endless now, but it's still fear. And there's really nothing behind it. Nothing really behind the information, no substance. Sometimes just a random citation to somebody else's article with a whole bunch of theories in there, but nothing really substantial. And then the influencers who discovered food. They discovered food. It's like they woke up one day from their college dorm and realized that food is important now. An entire movement of influencers that discovered that food actually makes a difference when you change it. Something can happen with your health, with your mental state, with your mindfulness, with your life in general. And then people are noticing that if you say something good about food, people are interested. People are also noticing if you say something bad about food, people are interested. Because let's face it, if you don't eat, you won't exist. We have to eat in order to sustain ourselves, to stay here, to live, to breathe, to feed our brain, to feed our heart. We have to consume food of some kind, regardless of what it is. Food makes a difference. And so influencers are seeing that now. And whoa. And most everybody has that aha moment, that come to Jesus moment. It's, I can't eat myself sick of processed food anymore. I know it's not helping me. And I have to back down one way or another. I can cheat. I could have some. I could limit it. I could play games all I want. But I have to be careful now. I can't just eat everything I want, anytime I want, all I can. I can't just pull into that fast food restaurant and order 4 hot dogs with bacon and cheese, 2 double bacon cheeseburgers, 3 tacos with all the fixins, onion rings, whole bunch of fries, gobble it all down, and think that that's a good thing. The age of bliss is disappearing right in front of us. Everybody and their grandmother and their cousin and their uncle and their best friend and anybody else, including their pet dog and their pet monkey and their pet cat, knows better now, or almost knows better now, or is on the edge of knowing better. Either way, something's changing out there. We can't just always eat what we want. A big chocolate cake? Have it every single night, right? A big juicy steak with butter on top? Have it every single night. Whole bunch of lobster with butter? Have it every single night. Big bowl of mac and cheese every single night? Sure, every single night. We can't just do that. We can't just eat a dozen eggs every day. Yeah, dozen eggs every day. I know there's a few people out there doing it and trying it or saying that they swear by it, but it'll kill them in the end one way or another to eat a dozen eggs every day. We just can't eat grilled cheese sandwiches all day long every day. And I'm talking about quantity, large amounts of this, because in the end, people would love to eat lots and lots of this. There are people out there that do. They eat lots of this same food. I'm not just talking about a little slice of pizza and 1 egg a day. I'm not talking about small helping of mac and cheese. Sure, people, they're careful with their portions when they eat different foods. They're always worried. They're always looking out. But they know they can't just eat a whole gigantic chocolate cake every single day. Because even somebody's conventional doctor would say, whoa, put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. The most conventional doctor you can ever stamp out of a conventional medical school would say, whoa, I don't advise you to eat a large chocolate cake every single day. Hold your horses. We got to cut that back. That's not good for you. And the world has changed right now. The food police is out there. They're out there everywhere, everyhow. The media is talking about it. Influencers are talking about it. No one can just walk down the street and eat what they want anymore. Someone's going to say something. Someone, somewhere, somehow is going to make you feel like shit. They're going to make you feel like you're doing something wrong, that you're eating yourself to death. You're eating the wrong food. You're eating the wrong way. It's going to kill you. You should change. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should feel guilty and you need to change. And then there's the attacks out there. Influencers are attacking food companies, food brands out there. They're holding packages of food with the name of the company right there on their feed. And they're saying, this is going to kill you. This is going to poison you. Here's the forever chemicals. Here's the toxic chemicals here. This food's the worst thing in the world. You can't eat this. Look at all the chemicals in here. And they're doing that every day right now. And why are they doing it? Because they care about you? Are they doing it because they care that you got chronic illness? Are they doing this because they're really caring about your well-being? They don't care about you. They care about themselves and about getting somewhere, becoming somebody on social, and using any kind of shock and awe they can to get you spooked and scared. They care if you're sucking it out and struggling, down on your luck, not feeling good, been to 20 doctors, you're really struggling. They care? Do they care if you have vertigo and tinnitus and you're sick and have chronic fatigue syndrome and anything else and everything else? Do they really care? They're just sitting there thinking about how to cash in the cha-ching, how to develop their brand, how to make it so they're actually, making some money and doing good and living it up. I don't think they really care about the chronically ill. They're not holding a packaged food item that's filled with chemicals because they're really concerned that you're going to get that chemical in your body and it's going to make you sick. Like, they really care? And it's all fun out there. It's all fun and games when you're not that sick, when you're hardly sick. And it's kind of fun just getting rid of some processed foods, eating better, doing some meditation, doing some yoga, changing your lifestyle for the better. And if you're not so sick and you only have some mild symptoms that come and go or go away completely because you got rid of the processed foods and you're taking care of yourself, you're sleeping a little bit more, you're living a better lifestyle in some way, a healthier way, and you're getting rid of some symptoms, now you're an expert. Total expert now. But are you really an expert? Because there's a big difference, a very big difference from being not so sick and being really sick and being seasoned with that. Trying everything, been there, done that. Lots of doctors, been sick a long time, tried virtually almost everything. And being not so sick, getting rid of one symptom, eating better, taking care of yourself in general. Symptom comes and goes. You feel stronger, more confident. You feel like you know health and wellness. Big, big difference right there. Two different worlds. Two different worlds completely. The not so sick and the very, very sick. A sick person who's been around the block knows a thing or two. They know what works for them, what doesn't work for them at that point, especially if they've been in it for years. And they also know when they find something that makes sense and actually works and they can feel it and they're moving forward in their life and they're getting rid of some symptoms, shedding maybe even 10 symptoms. They know they got something. It's gold. And they've been on a search long and hard for many years. So when they find that thing, they hold on to it. They hold on to it with conviction because they know it is saving them. And then the not so sick that are playing around with all kinds of different foods. They're looking out for some of the bad stuff. They're looking out for some of the good stuff. They're trying different things. They feel something might be helping them. They feel something might not be helping them. But until they're really sick, will they ever have that conviction? Will they ever really know and have that inner truth? What happens is the not so sick will just play games, try this and try that, do this and do that, and they'll just ebb and flow and they'll go along for the ride. They're not that sick. They can do it until the scale tips someday and they go downward. And then they're like, oh my God, those things aren't helping me anymore. But until that downfall happens, until they hit that rock bottom or head down to that direction, they sit up here, way up. And they're just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you how to heal. I'm going to tell you how to take care of yourself. The thing is, I've seen this thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I've seen people play around up there, being not so sick, and then the scale tip, and then they go downwards, and they're getting humbled. Takes a little time, doesn't happen fast. Depends on the entitlement or who they are, or where they come from, or their resources. And when they start heading down, and they're like, wait a minute, something isn't changing. I'm really stuck down here. I don't feel good. Then the humbling starts to happen. And then they come knocking on a door because they already knocked on 50 other doors and they're still sick. They knock on a door and they're like, you know what? I like what you're talking about. I need some answers. These look like real answers. So let's jump ahead. Let's put aside food chemicals. Let's put aside fast food and greasy fried foods. Let's put aside processed foods. Say you're somebody and you're already past that. You're not doing any of that, or you believe you're not doing any of that. Maybe some slips in by default, but you're trying to really avoid that in your life. You're wise, but you're still sick and you're not getting fully better and you're avoiding virtually most of that or all of that. And whatever your sickness is, inflammation is playing a role. You've heard that before. Inflamed. Inflammation. And the other thing that's playing a role is immune system. Weakened immune system and inflammation. But what does that mean in the end? If you go to a practitioner or healthcare provider or a medical professional and they say you're inflamed or you have some form of inflammation or markers are up and you're inflamed in some way, And they say, well, you either got autoimmune or you have some form of inflammation. Something's going on here. Your ANA is high, your markers are high, whatever it may be, whatever test you did. What's the answer in the end? Where's the answers? Because it comes down to this: pathogens and metals, bugs and toxins, viruses, bacteria, and poisons, toxins, and metals. Pathogens create this inflammation that's inside of people's bodies, mystery chronic illness. Pathogens love toxins and metals and feed off of toxins and metals. And then that also spurs on lots of inflammation. Pathogens eat the toxins and the poisons and the metals. And then they excrete the poison out of their little viral cells and pathogen cells. But pathogens also eat other things. They eat foods. Because this is one of the biggest and most important missing links here. It's what feeds pathogens, food that pathogens like. So it's not about being the food police out there. Don't eat this and don't eat that. It's about having real reason to not eat this or that. When you have a chronic illness, there's a reason to avoid a certain food. It's not just about shaming somebody about a food or saying you shouldn't eat all that. You shouldn't eat a loaf of bread and a stick of butter every day. It's not about that, because there's people out there that can eat a loaf of bread every day and a stick of butter, and they may not have the same inflammation as somebody else who's eating pretty good, because they may not have the pathogens that somebody else has. They may not have the viruses and the bacteria. So when they're eating a loaf of bread and a stick of butter, it may not be feeding the same pathogens that someone else has. And let's face it, if anybody's trying to eat healthy, that's because something's wrong. Because why would they just give up all the pizza they wanted and all the macaroni and cheese and all the cheeseburgers and all the ice cream and all the milkshakes? Why would they just give that up? They're either sick or they want to look a certain way. It's either one or the other. And looking a certain way may not be enough motivation, because you'll still have your cheat days and so forth as time goes on. And pathogens don't discriminate. So pathogens don't say, well, those are children, those are teenagers, those are young adults, those are people in their 30s, those are people in their 40s. Let's see. Let's not be a pathogen in an 8-year-old. Let's only be a pathogen in a 50-year-old. It doesn't work that way. That's why there's a lot of sick kids. Pathogens, all kinds of different bugs, pathogens like viruses and bacteria will be in children, they'll be in teenagers, they'll be in young adults, they'll be in anybody, anywhere, anyhow. There's no discrimination. They're just in everyone at any time. And the same thing happens. Pathogens and toxins creating inflammation, pathogens and metals creating inflammation. So when it comes down to avoiding a food, there needs to be a reason. Like, seriously, a very important reason to avoid a certain food. And that important reason is to not feed a bug. Because foods can feed bugs, pathogens, viruses, and bacteria. Epstein-Barr, shingles, HHV6, HHV7, undiscovered HHV10 through 16, HSV1, HSV2, the herpes simplexes, cytomegalovirus, and many more. Many mutations, many different strains, strep, staph, C. diff, H. pylori, anything. And different bugs have different appetites. They like different foods for different reasons. For one thing, a bug might have been in somebody else before you caught that bug. A bug might have been sitting in somebody else and then eating a diet that somebody else fed that bug. And that bug has been used to that very diet. And then that bug gets contracted into somebody else. Someone actually gets that bug. Maybe they drank off of somebody's glass. Maybe they shared a bodily fluid. Or maybe off of a shopping cart handle. You touch the handle, then you put your finger in your eye, and then you got a bug. And that bug has a history. It has a past. Bugs have a past when they come from other people. They had a different diet, different foods. So maybe you were fine eating corn. You've been eating corn every year. You eat corn in different ways. Corn flour, tortilla chips, corn off the cob. You eat frozen corn, any kind of corn, cornbread, and everything's fine. And then a bug you picked up recently, some exposure that had a corn diet from another person is now in you. And now you're eating corn and you're eating corn and you're eating corn and something's changing. You're not feeling good. You're getting sicker. Something's wrong and you don't even know it, but that bug is feasting off of that corn and eliminating toxins, growing, proliferating, getting stronger, and you're getting weaker. You might be a person that always did good with gluten. You saw everybody else wasn't doing good with gluten. You hear about it all the time. You see gluten-free products everywhere. And you could eat plain old straight pizza, gluten in bread anytime you want, and everything's fine. And then one day, all of a sudden, you get a bug. You catch somebody else's bug. Maybe it's a strep you catch. And that strep loves to feast on gluten. And that strep was in somebody else's body and it was feasting on gluten all the time and reproducing itself and wreaking havoc. UTIs all the time, bladder infections, kidney infections, styes, conjunctivitis, lung infections, sore throats, ear infections, all kinds of different headaches and so forth. And that strep was flying high and it was feeding off of that gluten. And now that strep bug got into you somehow. Maybe you kissed somebody. Maybe you just caught it somewhere, somehow on a public toilet seat, but you have it in you and it's feasting on gluten. And that was never a problem before. Instead, now you're like, wait a minute, something's wrong. I feel a little bit better getting off of gluten. Am I one of those people now where I have to be off of gluten? And yeah, you have to be off of gluten. And maybe you're somebody that does great with eggs. You can eat eggs every day, 2 eggs every single day. You can have them boiled, fried. You can have them on your salads. You can have them scrambled. You can have any form of egg. You can have it in bread. You can have it anywhere, anyhow. You do good with eggs. You've been eating them for years. And then you're getting sick and sick and sicker because you caught a bug. Maybe you caught an Epstein-Barr virus. Maybe it's your Epstein-Barr virus that suddenly was awakened because your immune system just broke down and some triggers occurred and other exposures. And then boom, immune system weakened. And then an Epstein-Barr came out of a dormancy that's been there forever. And as it gets up and strong and grows, it's feeding off those eggs for the first time in all these years. And something starts to change. And then you're in a public bathroom. You sit on a toilet seat. You actually eliminate in the toilet. The splash goes right up into the rectum. And in that splash was a different Epstein-Barr virus. Got into you. It's now in you. It's not going to leave you. It's going to percolate. It's going to do its thing. And you start getting sick. And that Epstein-Barr virus had a different diet. It loved dairy products, milk, cheese, and butter. And that Epstein-Barr virus that was in another person that was eating a lot of milk, cheese, and butter wasn't used to or eating goat's milk or goat's cheese. And that person that has this virus now that's feeding off of milk, cheese, and butter is shying away over time from milk, cheese, and butter and starting to gravitate to other options because they're hearing people say, well, if you don't feel good, get off the milk, get off the dairy, and you should try goat's milk or goat's cheese. And they end up feeling a little bit better. They do okay. And they're like, whoa, I like goat's cheese. That's what I eat. And that's what I like. And I seem to do better with it until that Epstein-Barr over time says, I'm hungry and I need some dairy. So it starts to actually go towards the goat cheese and the goat milk. And then you're somebody with a shingles virus. Maybe it was dormant for years. Maybe you picked up a shingles virus very easily from somebody else somehow. And that shingles virus had a diet in somebody else that was actually eggs. Somebody else ate a lot of eggs. They had a shingles flare up continuously. They had maybe multiple shingles viruses. And those shingles viruses were used to eating eggs for a long time. And maybe you ate eggs and everything was fine. But this other person, they got away from eggs. They got away from other things too, because they were kind of figuring out, whoa, this doesn't work for me. This does work for me, because they were so inflamed for so long with these shingles viruses. But you've been eating eggs all this time and you've been doing okay with them. And you feel confident that the eggs work for you. And then you get this new shingles virus. It's in you now and it's feeding on the eggs. Same goes with soy. Soy can feed pathogens too. Genetically altered soy can actually feed some pathogens. So if somebody's loaded with some kind of pathogen and they're eating a lot of soy, same thing can happen. Or they get a pathogen from somebody else who ate a lot of soy, GMO soy. And then, boom, they were eating soy too. That pathogen's like, whoa, this is the food I like. This is the food I want. And when someone gets extra inflamed out of nowhere because they're eating that soy, if they could line it up and match it up, because a lot of people can, some people don't know what's bothering them. They don't know what food's triggering them, but some people do. And they're like, whoa, I think I'm going to back down the soy for a while. And now they're feeling a little bit better. But what's really happening is they're starving the pathogen. They're starving the virus. Medical medium information is about customizing a protocol for you, taking your health as far as you want to go. So when you learn that gluten feeds bugs, say you got an H. pylori, say you have 1 or 2 streps, and they eat gluten, and that gluten is feeding them, creating inflammation, then you could rid that gluten and see what happens. And you're starving 1 or 2 varieties of bugs. Same thing if you take eggs out of your diet. You're taking the eggs away from the pathogens. Viruses like shingles and Epstein-Barr love eggs. So when you remove the eggs, those bugs don't have a food that they love and eat every day. Essentially, you're starving the bugs, starving them out of your body. They die if they don't have the food they need. It's a great way of getting rid of so many bugs. Many people use the medical medium information to clean up all the pathogens. They learn about the foods, they get rid of the pathogens, and then they bring those foods back in, the eggs or the gluten or dairy, as time goes on, and they notice that they're actually able to eat it, they're not getting inflamed, and they're okay. But everybody's different. So many people have different toxins, poisons, metals, and different bugs and pathogens. Some people have 2 or 3 different viruses. Some people have 10 different strains of viruses. Some people will have 5 different viruses, or they'll have bacteria as well. And there'll be different levels of bugs, some aggressive, some very mild. So they have to customize the protocol for what they need because they're different than somebody else who's sick. They have the option of taking out one of the foods that feeds bugs or take all of them out. The difference with medical medium information than what's out there is that it's not one size fits all. It's one size fits all out there in so many different ways. In the end, it comes down to just one size fits all. But with medical medium information, you can customize it to what you need for where you are at. You can take it as far as you need to go to work on your healing process. If you get a chance, check out the Medical Medium book series. You can even go to the library to look for a book. See what's right for you in the books. Customize something for yourself. Ask your doctor what's right for you. Yeah, the plane is just not arriving yet. I'm so bored. All right, let's take a look at this article here. What's this one? 10 ways you can make yourself live forever. All right, let's see what this is. Eat out of cast iron pans. That's number 1. Number 2, breathe deep breaths of fresh air outside. Okay, number 3, do yoga twice a day. Okay, number 4, meditate twice a day. Okay, number 5, do a steam bath. Okay, number 6, do a cold plunge. All right, number 7, yeah, no, thank you. No, that's great. I'll take another one of those. All right, thanks. Number 7, stay away from processed foods. Number 8, eat more vegetables. Number 9, stay away from all fruit. Number 10, bring salt back in to your diet. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Some of these things might be okay or not. I think some are okay. I'm so confused. Health has become a game. Yo, a game of here's a new shiny thing. Always tricks the ones that are still green. Yo, same old, same old. For many, health has become nothing but a pain in the a-hole. How lame it's all become. Hard to know if you're up or down. When sickness comes, and the biohacks don't resolve, it's hard to stay sane. Meanwhile, you didn't know that they were all clowns. Here we go. The ones involved didn't know. Been down to not eat what I want. Been told to never eat what I shouldn't want. Got sold on eating what everyone else does. Don't know what's up, don't know what's down. See that person selling their dietary program that's renowned? I'm sick of the one-size-fits-all, and I'm looking for a way to move forward, y'all. Need to get this ghost ship to the dock and deboard my tired body on the shore. It's time to take my healing to the next level, and someday, after a healthy life, stay on earth while my soul is in heaven, knowing I did what I needed to do down here until it happens again on another trip down from heaven into a body that may need help again. The wiser soul filled with leftover past knowledge. You can heal. You can get through this life out of pain and get yourself back to the beginning again.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.